So we're starting the meeting at 7:18. That sound right? Mike Iacampo, Mike Benatti, Joe Colangelo, Ed Taman, and Bethany. And I have read through the minutes and they look pretty good. Anybody else?
Yeah, I read them.
They were wonderful minutes.
All right. Anybody want to suggest that we accept the minutes?
I suggest you accept.
And Eddie seconds.
Second.
I think Ed second. I don't know if you heard it,
I
Joe.
did.
I got it.
Yep.
Okay, what do we have next? Director's report?
Yep,
Because I don't think there's anyone present to speak but us, right?
right. So, like I said before, I've been getting acclimated in my first 2 weeks and getting the lay of the land, meeting everyone here in the office building, and just kind of learning the day-to-day functions. And, you know, I've met with Maureen a few times. I really appreciate all the time and energy she's put into helping me and answering my questions. So I'm looking forward to working with you all and hopefully safely providing programs to the public again very soon. So.
Sounds good.
So I know my first or second night here, I attended one of the Board of Finance meetings. Human Services actually decided not to include camp in their annual budget. So with that, I resubmitted our fiscal year budget, and I did double our camp wages, camp expenses, and camp revenue, and resubmitted that. So
Doubled it based on attendance numbers.
it used to be 50-50 between
Yeah.
Parks and Recreation and Human Services. So
Okay.
with them not including it in their plans, then we had to pick up the slack there.
Doesn't that self-support though? I mean, doesn't the income pay for the wages? Basically, I think we made money. We made money on the camp. We ran one or two times we did it.
Yeah,
They still must have something in the budget for preparation and, you need to front end it, right?
so with the numbers, I mean, because we didn't run camp last year, I'm not entirely sure how minimum wage is going to impact all of that.
Mhm.
August 1st, minimum wage is going up to 13 an hour. And if we're limiting how many kids can attend camp potentially,
Right.
Yeah.
especially with the roofing project, we would be in an outdoor location. Hopefully at River Road, we would have to probably limit staff and campers just for safety guidelines.
So are we assuming that the Board of Finance will pay for some of this? They're probably gonna poo-poo that when they know we have money in the kitty.
Yeah, but if it was 50-50 before, it's not like we're asking for money that wasn't already in the budget, right?
That's true.
Right,
So that shouldn't be a big deal.
yeah. So, and like I was saying, with the schools having their roofing project this summer, I spoke with the superintendent, and it looks like we're probably not going to be able to use the school space for summer camp. They still don't have a timeline for their roofing project, and as of right now, they're planning for alternate locations for summer school programming. So I was thinking, if possible, maybe we could use River Road and have camp under the pavilion, if that's something the public would want.
So maybe what we do is try and do an abbreviated summer camp and we decide how many kids we can handle and offer it based on that at River Road. I bet you'd fill up in an afternoon.
Mhm.
People are sick of their kids right now.
Well, they're looking for the daycare aspect of it too. We don't necessarily, do we have to even do a full 5-day schedule? Could you do a 4-day, 3-day? Does that make any sense or?
I think they'd want a 5-day. What did we do in the past?
Yeah, it's been 5-day, 8:30 to 4:30. What is nice is in the past, they split the counselor hours. So there would be a morning shift and an afternoon shift. And with COVID, that will actually be helpful. A lot of camps that ran last summer did a similar schedule, and then God forbid somebody needs to stay home and might be sick or has to quarantine. you still have other staff that might be able to pick up that morning or afternoon shift. As opposed to having them work the full, 8:30 to 4:30 schedule.
Right. So we could
So.
do some kind of abbreviated summer camp.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got a park, there's plenty of things to do in the park.
Right, and with all the regulations, the kids would have to wear their masks, staff would have to wear their masks. We would have to do check-ins in the morning with staff and parents, just kind of going over symptoms and making sure everyone's well before they attend. And if we hosted it at River Road, we would need porta potties and hand washing stations, and some form of drinkable water. So either water donations or something of the sort, or filling up the water jugs and bringing them to camp every day.
Did you say that somebody offered you some jugs of water? The school did?
Yeah, Board of Ed has, Village Spring donated like gallon jugs. And I know Maureen mentioned that we still have Gatorade water bottles, enough for kids at camp. So potentially we could, clean those and fill their water and have them bring that water bottle every day.
And I
Yeah.
just offer up the idea that maybe you don't have to worry about that. Kids have been bringing their own water bottles to school every day.
Oh, that's good.
I think they're programmed to do that. I think you can take that one off your list and not have to worry about it. I think you want to have some in case the kid forgets it, but I think you can ask them to bring it and they're all prepared to do it. They probably already have 3 water bottles at home with their name on it and they're ready to go.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, sometimes they forget. And I know in the past too, we've offered snacks and things. So that might be something that we might have to take off the list. They have to bring their own lunch and their own snack, just
Okay.
for safety reasons. But
And you just adjust the cost accordingly.
Mhm.
And at
Right,
least try and offer something.
right.
And that might be something, if you've got kids that are coming that either can't afford it or can't afford their lunch. Phil Stevens, I know even throughout the summer, I think they still provide those federal snacks and lunches. You might want to reach out to him about that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Federal food.
MRE.
And then with that too, I know we were looking at Hall's Pond and seeing if we could potentially open that this year. I know last year we weren't able to. This year, I know Maureen had factored in getting a storage unit, and obviously the minimum wage impacts would also impact lifeguard wages. And with Hall's Pond, I know that the passes in the past have not covered the wages entirely.
At all?
Revenue from other programs has, so that might prove difficult without basketball and things to help with that cost.
What are other towns saying? Are any of your cohorts talking about waterfront?
Coventry had their lake locations open last summer. They have their residents only beach and they have their open to the public beach where you pay for a day pass. They did well with it, but that's, they have larger locations. They were able to social distance everyone and they're able to sustain that with beach pass sales. So here in town too, with Hall's Pond, it might be difficult to safely social distance people on the beach and still make money off of each day. It doesn't matter how many passes we sell. If we can only allow 5 families on the beach, people aren't going to be happy. So
I think you'd have to do a day pass.
mhm.
It'd have to be paid for the day of, because if you had 100 families sign up, you could never have more than 8 families there at a time, maybe.
Yeah, you're gonna be a lot of mad people at the gate.
Yeah.
Right. And then with that, it's difficult too, just with staffing and knowing that you're going to, sell enough to cover the staff wages. Maureen played around with the numbers here and I had it, let me pull it up here. We could look at maybe changing the hours that the beach is open. But typically the price for 2 guards on average for the summer, if we maintained the Sunday through Saturday 12 to 7 hours, would be about $13,600.
Man, I was guessing 5 or 6,000. I was way off.
Yeah, so I mean, with that in mind, knowing that it would be that much for 2 guards and then their previous past sales, the last time that the beach was open, I think they sold
3,000.
5,500
Yeah,
in sales. So, you know, that barely covers half, not even.
A big loss,
So
Yeah,
maybe
especially like you say, without youth basketball, which is usually our biggest moneymaker.
hmm
do we pass on the waterfront this year?
It's a tough call, especially with, you know, the lifeguards don't have personalized equipment because we didn't have it last year. So they would all need their own personal life-saving equipment because of COVID regulations. So, you know, their own fanny pack with their own supplies, bag valve masks and all of those things.
And if we're not running the summer camp and using it from the school, there's no reason to almost even have it open. You're gonna lose money like that. Get your hose out.
How about, I know Bethany, you and I were talking about maybe a couple days a week. You've got summer camp, you get a bus, you have
Right.
the waterfront open those 2 days just for summer camp and see if you can get some kids to throw a couple days a week at it, or maybe 3 days.
So, I mean, that would be an option. I think just making sure that we have staff that would want to only work
Yeah,
those days might even be difficult. And I don't know how the public would respond to it just being open for camp.
yeah, good
They might
point.
not, they might not like that.
Yeah, they'd want to be part of it.
hmm
Joe, didn't we do something in conjunction with Ashford that helped save operating costs for camp? Did they come to our camp or something like that?
I think they came swimming. That was here too. Let me pull that up. Where was that? I think that was included actually in the permit sales, the past sales. Yeah, Ashford Summer Camp, they paid to attend, so.
Did we go to Ashford some days and they came to us? Or did it all happen here?
I'm not sure. It looks like it was just included on like the permit holders Excel sheet that we've got here. So it looks like they sent us $50. I'm not sure if that was just for one visit or how that worked, but that number is included in the Halls Pond permit sales. So that's part of that 5,500.
Yeah. I don't know how involved, what's that girl's name from Ashford, Sherry or?
Sherry York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sherry York.
You could talk to her. Do they have a waterfront in Ashford or they don't? They got a lake.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
I imagine something was going on if they come here, so.
Yeah, I don't know if it was because they were trying to find more kids or if it was, you know, just a way to share people like assistants. I don't know.
Well, if we're gonna be limited, in how many people from Wellington we can have because of
Right.
COVID, we certainly don't want to add Ashford into our mix.
Right. I think what we try and do here is figure out if we can do a limited RAC, you know, RAC summer camp, how many kids. So I guess we take the square footage of the pavilion and base it on that.
Yeah, I mean, with the distancing guidelines, you know, they want 16 kids to a group. Most of their guidelines are for indoor, but it applies to outdoor as well. And yeah, I would just have to take a look to see how many picnic tables we have and how many kids we can accommodate with eating and sitting and things like that.
16 would happen easily.
Yeah, but I mean, we would hope to have more than just 16 kids at camp. I think in the past it's been about 30. So with minimum wage going up and if we increase the cost of camp or something.
Well, we could also do.
I don't know.
We could also do your tent idea if you can get 2 groups in there, one under the tent, 116 group under the tent, 116 group under the pavilion. I mean, in an emergency, so you jam 16 of them in the little shed we got if you had to. in a lightning storm.
The problem there is tables and chairs,
right.
because you're gonna need a
Oh.
bunch of portable tables and chairs. Not a
Yeah.
bunch. 6, 8, 6.
16,
the-
figure 4 to a table. Yeah, at least 4.
Are the picnic tables under the pavilion bolted down?
Yeah,
Oh,
they have been moved in the past,
hmm,
but it'd be a pain to unbolt them, move them back at night.
Not have them disappear.
They will
Yeah.
disappear for
Yeah.
sure. They
Hmm.
will disappear. So Mike's right. You could ask the school to loan us a tent. We'd have to pay to get the tent moved and set up, I'm sure. And we'd wreck wherever we put it. Where would we put it? We'd sit over some grass and that grass would not grow. Or would it really not bother it because it's translucent?
Might be enough sunlight in there.
Maybe.
Put it right next to the other one, to the.
Yeah.
Pavilion.
Right, so maybe 32 kids, 2 groups, add a tent and tables. How many people did Maureen have helping her 2 years ago with summer camp?
I've got the list here. I think she had about a staff of 10.
Wow.
Wow.
But those kids are paying like $200 a week to be there, right?
She had 11, yeah, a staff of 11. One of them was the camp director.
Okay,
So 10 counselors and a camp director.
that means you'd have to hire a director.
With the, who did I reach out to? I reached out to all the lifeguards already, just sent them an email saying, if we were to open the pond, would you be returning? Did you maintain your certifications and things? Because during COVID, people have not been able to renew their lifeguard certs.
Sure.
So with that, I had it written down here. Let me see. As far as lifeguards, I got 3 no's, 2 yeses, and 3 no responses. So I think I would need to do a similar thing with the camp staff, see if they're still interested and available, or if they've moved on to, other things, internships and things like that. So,
So when does summer camp start? In June?
yeah, typically it's run July, this year, if we did it, it would be July 12th to August 20th, 6 weeks.
Well, it gives us some time at least.
Mhm.
So do you think you reach out to some of the kids that worked last year?
Yeah, I was planning on doing that this week either way, just to kind of get a feel for if we would need to hire a lot more or if people that have been here and are trained
Hmm.
are willing to come back. So I think that would be a good first step. And then kind of getting a sense from the public too, if they're interested in this limited program, a new location, no bathrooms, no running water,
We'd at least have
possibly no
handicap.
swimming.
We got that porta potty down there, that handicap porta potty.
Yeah,
And we could, we've got non-potable running water if we want it.
right.
So we could set something up and you just have to, whoever the kids are that are staff counselors, those that all have to be their duties, walking kids to the toilet and making sure they wash their hands and have hand washing stations around and
Hmm.
just a different protocol.
Right. And then storing athletic equipment, arts and crafts equipment in the shed there.
There's a little bit of room in there. We
Available,
were
yeah.
careful. You could get 5 tables in there and some folding chairs. That's possible.
Mhm.
And then, geez, I don't know if anyone's going to be using the concession stand, but there's probably some room on that side too. It's kind of 2 small rooms.
Yeah.
So, yeah, River Road, it's doable.
Mhm.
But you said 2 sessions. So if you did 32 kids, would you do 16 in the morning and 16 in the afternoon?
No, I would imagine they would be there all day. I think in the past they could do a half day if they wanted. I'm not sure how popular that was, but
Oh, okay.
the other camps that I've helped run, it's full day. So,
Most people are looking for a full day daycare, not
right.
a day.
So the only thing that would maybe be difficult for parents is if they're, planning to go to work and they're dropping their kids off, if we had to cancel for weather or anything,
Mhm.
that gets difficult with them taking time off work so that they could come get their kid and things like that, so. But
Maybe you said this, but I got a question for you. We're going by last summer's COVID rules, right?
Yep.
Is there a possibility with numbers being down, they scale back? I'm not familiar with all the different levels that they have, especially for daycare, childcare, school. But is it possible that we could have they might reduce the level and we could get higher numbers, or be able to keep the kids closer together in the pavilion?
things are changing every day. They
Right.
come out with new regulations, but right now it's the groups that they're in is 16.
They
Is
still
that
doing
the same?
6 feet,
that-
6 foot?
16 kids in a group.
Is that the same as last year?
That I don't know.
I'm just wondering if we've been at that level since last summer, and there's a good chance when we get to March or April that might be pulled back. I don't know.
Well, we didn't have summer camp last year because we
Right.
couldn't, right?
We didn't
Right.
have school.
Off the board. So I guess 16 is better than what we had last year. And I'm with Mike. I think that I'm optimistic. I think we're going to be doing
Thank
better
you.
here in 2 months.
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna replace the roof last year on the school.
They didn't do it.
They could have done it during the pandemic. I don't understand that.
I don't know if it was a money thing. I don't know what it was.
yeah, something got delayed with it. I'm not sure.
Put that on the list of things we don't understand.
They're doing both schools this summer, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's crazy. So I like the idea of maybe mill it around in your head a little bit. We'll talk about it over the next 2 weeks, maybe 32 kids, River Road. See if we can get a tent from the school. And I'm sure the Public Works guys had moved the tent. Who installed that tent? Was it Public Works?
I don't know. I don't think it's set up right now, but yeah, I think they got it in some kind of grant or donation. I'm not sure. So I don't
Okay.
know I don't know if they've used it yet or not. So,
Whoa.
I gotta get my kid out of this rink. I'm hungry.
All right, go, brother.
No, I'm good. I'm still listening, but that's what that sound was. That was his bag.
All right. Yeah, I heard something zip across the floor. So I think we should try and do something. And I think summer camp is like the next something.
Right.
That park's going to be really popular once the weather breaks.
Mhm.
So your biggest predicament may be keeping people out of the pavilion. So we have to get ahead of it, tell people we're going to do it. Let's spend a couple weeks seeing if anybody's interested.
Yeah. So survey the counselors to see if anyone's returning and survey the public to see if they would be interested in a camp at River Road.
Yeah, I think absolutely survey the public as well and see if people would be interested.
Mhm.
So I bet you we couldn't charge as much, or maybe we could say we're charging the same even though there's no pond because the regulations are so stringent, we have to do that much more work. That's,
Take it or leave it.
yeah, I guess.
I'm wondering, I think we ought to be, it's not just optimism. I think we should be ready for them to say, listen, if you've got something going on outside, you can pretty much do what you need to do.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that's how it's going to be. Baseball tournaments are scheduled.
Right.
We've got all our sports here at UConn, with the exception of football, is competing and having games. Soccer's playing without masks. Basketball's obviously playing without masks. I think when you get an outdoor thing, an outdoor activity, I think they're going to be a lot more open and free.
yeah, it's a little safer. We don't have to worry about positive air pressure in a building and all that. So I think we try and do summer camp. And by we, Bethany, I mean you.
Right.
We'll help you all we can.
Good. So with that in mind and Hall's Pond, I guess just kind of crunching numbers and seeing what's possible. And then I know Maureen said that you guys did some projects in the park. That was a pretty popular program. She was trying to organize like a science camp, an arts and crafts camp. So even specialty camps might be an option if day camp isn't popular, depending on what the public says and what they want.
I think the public's gonna tell you they want you to have their kids at summer camp.
Yeah,
I think the other one that you can think about too is doing concerts in the park.
yeah, that's a go. She's already, everything's in motion, so she's
Yeah.
already booked all the concerts. There's just one opening. I've heard from 2 bands that want it, so I'm trying to pick one, but I sent out the sponsorship stuff at the end of last week, and we've already gotten 2 small sponsorship donations, so.
Okay,
And I know when Maureen had those concerts in the park last year, they still were able to do grab and go types of concessions and things. So that could still be an option, snack foods, prepackaged chips,
Mhm.
ice cream, things like that. And she just made sure that all the families that were in attendance were distancing, and she kind of measured with, I think she said she taped together some pool noodles.
yeah, I used those one night. They were
Yeah,
like
so,
15 footers, I think, or 12
yeah,
footers.
so
But people were sitting in groups.
Mhm,
If you came with a group, you could sit with a group.
right,
So yeah, that should happen for sure this summer. That's a
yeah,
foregone conclusion.
Yep.
So that's a
um,
couple things we got.
right. And what was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, I've been hearing from some of the sports leagues asking about our field rentals and if we're gonna be allowing teams to play on the fields. I heard from the Connecticut Celtic Soccer Club and CABL Vernon League.
CABL?
Yeah, I guess they're a baseball team from Vernon.
Oh,
So they were just asking if our fields would be available, and yeah, one of them said that it was available part of the year last year, I
they played,
guess.
Rockville came and played baseball in Wellington last year?
That adults,
His name's Tony.
Oh,
and he said
yeah.
it was the Vernon League. Yeah,
Yeah, that's 90-foot base paths up behind the town office building.
Tony Eldridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
so yeah, they were
We-
both just asking if the fields would be open for use this year and if the pricing increased. I think Maureen mentioned you guys were talking about increasing prices, but I'm not sure if anything came of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, I don't
Did we-
even know what she was charging for field use.
I think it was like here.
But Tony is a Wellington kid and he's done a lot of work in that field.
Mhm.
And one of the projects we were trying to do was get a scoreboard up in that field. And I think we've still earmarked to do it. We've got the
Yeah.
money to do it. So we should kind of talk about that too, but I would tell him, as long as the state is allowing us to have the field open, why wouldn't we?
Right, and I know just last week they were releasing more guidelines with that, but I'm pretty sure as long as they sign a waiver and they understand all the guidelines, then other towns are allowing it, so,
Yeah, why not?
yeah.
Now, don't the little girls still play softball there? Is there still a softball field there, Mike?
I believe so, yeah. In the left field.
So we just have to watch schedule them. I don't know when the guys play.
If they're even having it. They didn't have Little League last year, did they?
I don't know. Has Little League in Vernon, has Little League in Wellington talked to you at all, Bethany, about anything?
No, I haven't heard from them.
Well, then I mean, I'd tell Mike yes. I mean,
Tony,
Tony Eldridge, I'd tell Tony yes.
okay,
What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. We mow the field, so, what's his name? Greg mows the field, so
Let's
might as well use it.
Plus Tony is
Nobody
all
else.
about using them.
Nobody else is using them.
Yeah, I think that's a yes.
okay. And I know, I checked in with Troy on Friday too. He said that the mowing bids are up this year. So
Do we post for those mowing jobs or I guess we
I'm
do?
not sure. I'm gonna have to find out more about it.
Okay.
This year's mowing is already all set. It's for next year.
I think it's March or June, he was saying.
It's done. So we don't have anybody signed up for this year.
I think I would have to check. So I guess that's a conversation with Troy and Erica to try to
Does
figure
it go
out.
by our fiscal year? Isn't that up in July? When's the end of our fiscal year?
Yeah, June 30th, July 1st.
Okay. Maybe that's it, Mike.
So,
Yeah, we gotta find that out.
right.
All right. Yeah, because we cover Center and Hall and River
Mhm.
Road and the Town Hall field, right?
Right, all the maintenance and fertilizer and everything I
Yeah.
have to order soon. So,
Yeah. Well, you're gonna be busy.
yeah.
When's the
Yeah.
next Board of Finance meeting that they make a decision on the next meeting, right?
The next
Our budget.
meeting, I know that March 4th, I think, is when capital improvement presents to Board of Finance.
Because I know we had, at that last meeting that we were at, we had an increase there of like
Mhm.
$10,000 for materials to fix up the field. So I just was curious how we were gonna make out with that. We're gonna have to back up on that or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they'll come back with they probably come back to us with some recommendations, right? That's how it works usually. We told them what we wanted. They come back and say, no, you gotta reduce it by X. I guess we'll
Yeah.
find out. We'll find out.
Oh. All right.
All right.
I don't know,
Yeah, I
making
would-
a little headway here.
Well, so we also, so that lends itself to, so we do want to rent out the field for soccer. And I would say probably the best thing to do would be to, if we get the same groups asking, I'd say you want to stay with the same groups that Maureen rented it to, because some of the groups she was a little leery of.
Mhm.
I think the Celtic group is the one she didn't really like, but they used it the most.
Really?
I think
Yeah,
so. There was one guy in that group she didn't like that much, but I think he snapped out of it and followed her rules.
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
I
this is
heard
so-
from Rich, I think, from Celtic Soccer,
Yeah,
and
that sounds
he
right.
said that they use it spring, summer, and fall.
Yeah,
So,
they were even using the baseball field a little bit.
yeah,
Well, it's good income, so,
Yeah,
and if we don't get this money to overseed and top seed and top dress, whatever, we don't have to worry about trying to grow grass, so.
yeah, they can only kill so much grass. Dead is dead.
Ball rolls better on dirt.
Did we have a plan that we were gonna use half our income from soccer to reseed the field or something? Didn't we come up with some kind of formula?
And we talked about using a half a field a year and trying to transition back and forth and grow grass on one side, but I don't know if we have a real plan.
We did talk about fixing up the fields, because Maureen's got it in this Parks and Rec.
In the budget.
Right,
Yeah.
but I think our plan was, I think initially we were asking for capital money, and then from now on, we were gonna use, I don't know, a quarter of our income or half our income to do, right, one side of the field at a time. And we probably, if we reseed one half, we can probably let them back on it by the end of May.
This year,
I don't know.
If we do it at the end of March
I
or
think you
early
need,
April,
I
I'm
think
sure
you
we
need
can let
I
them
think
on.
you need a full season of growth to be able to play on it. They'll just tear it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to keep them off it.
Yeah, and if you use a
Yeah.
half field at a time, how are you gonna keep them off at period?
That's
I'm
my
not
point.
sure.
I think if we at least give them a deadline and say, stay off of that, it'll be for you, when we do it.
You need $500,000 and put turf on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
get your checkbook out.
I was just gonna say, cut a check, Mike.
it's federal stimulus.
Steal a Zamboni on the way out. We'll sell that.
That's only 150.
Ah, it's a start. I think this year I don't want to say, it's not a good time to regroup, but we just got to try and do everything we can this summer.
Yeah,
And I
probably
think that
just run
means
the-
let 'em- yeah,
just run the programs and worry about the
Yeah.
graph later.
and fertilize the field and overseed it, but
Right.
we get what we get. Be good if you had a helper that could get out there in the dry days and get those sprinklers going. We got a couple sprinklers there. Or maybe we can talk the townies into doing it. Public Works guys, maybe. That would help.
I think, was it Troy that was telling me too, that with the mowing bid, we might want to add fertilizer into the contract? So that's included in the price, like they would purchase it and they would spread it.
He had been doing it because I remember 2 or 3 years ago, I found a bunch of burned circles out on one on the baseball field, one by the prison workout area, where the guy just turned the machine on while he was sitting still and just dropped a big circle and just burned a circle into the field. So I know he had been doing it. I don't know if he was doing it recently.
But I think we were providing the fertilizer and Bethany's
Mhm.
saying, let him put the fertilizer in his price
The
and,
bid,
right, and we just traded off anyhow. And, I think we were $5,000 a year in fertilizer. We just pushed that into the mowing bid. Right? Is that what
Okay.
you're saying, Bethany?
Yeah, I think that's what Troy was saying would be best if we could change that agreement with the.
I think that's a good idea because then it's one less thing you have to worry about.
Mhm.
not in our budget, doesn't make our budget look bad.
Okay, so fertilizer
Um,
to mowing budget. It's just moving money. It's the same money. We're just calling it, lawn care.
Different line item.
I gotta go mute for a while. You guys keep going.
Yep.
where else are we? And in the last 2 weeks, I've loaned some snowshoes out, so that's still going.
That's good.
And I met with the Wellington Day Committee was it last week or the week before? Last week, I think. I know Wellington Day used to be around Memorial Day, and they were proposing to do it in August this year, so they sent out a save the date. They're planning to do it August 28th. And with all the COVID restrictions and things, they're hoping by that point, things will be a little bit looser with restrictions, and hopefully it can look more like it used to look as opposed to,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
distancing guidelines and limiting programs. So,
And still
um,
do it at River Road. Is that where we did it last time?
mhm. And they're trying to find, volunteers that would like to help out with the event and things. If it was in May, I would have been able to attend, but with this new date, I have potentially my brother's wedding to go to that day, so
He's
I won't
just
be
a
able to make
brother.
it. I know. His wedding was last August. He had like a tiny, just family only ceremony. So they pushed off their vow renewal and reception for that day this year.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, he's still up in the air if it's happening, so it's possible I could make it, but we'll see. And then I was hoping to get some of your guys' input with what could Park and Rec offer for that program? I know in the past it was knocker ball or the basketball shoot-a-thon.
I don't know. What did I haven't been involved with it in so long. I think the best thing we ever did was we had a batting cage one year. That was fun.
Oh,
It was a long, long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, but, yeah, some kind of a contest thing would be fun. I know that in the past, they've rented those, dunk tanks.
mhm,
So, yeah, we can. put our heads
Little
together.
League did that, I think.
yeah. I think that they talked about that in the meeting too, like the committee meeting, because that would actually be a safe, socially distant activity.
Yeah,
You know, one person in the tank all day.
it's gonna get pruny.
But yeah, I just, need to understand what other groups do so that I'm not stepping on any toes with, what they traditionally offer. So if that's a little league thing, then yeah, I wouldn't want to take that from them.
Yeah, I agree. We could, you could do a bounce house maybe, or
Mhm.
maybe
We
not
did
a
the-
bounce house, too much
Well,
contact.
Not
I
during
think-
COVID, yeah.
Yeah, I think we did the basketball, the shootout.
Mhm.
As I think I was there. I was there with Greg when we did that one
I remember he did 3-on-3s at center school one year.
a few years ago. Yeah.
So that's not a bad idea. Do a 3-on-3 contest?
Mhm.
Is that what you guys did, Mike?
No, it was foul shooting, I think, and 3 points. It was that layup, foul shot, 3-pointer, half court thing.
Okay.
But I don't know what Maureen did last year.
I think it was knocker ball. Those
Yeah.
like inflatable.
Oh yeah,
things.
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
That was kind of cool. So
Mhm.
keep that on your list too.
Yeah, maybe just do that because I think I'll bet you that was. I didn't get down there, but I'll bet you that was a fun thing.
I could imagine that being okay, but we would have to clean the inside of them after each
Every
one.
time, yeah.
But at least people could play without, you might not need a mask inside there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe by August, we don't have to worry.
Yeah. So,
But let's leave that on the list. 3-on-3 or that horse game or knocker ball,
mhm.
something.
So, and then if I can't attend, just finding somebody that would want to volunteer to run it. So,
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Don't worry
Okay.
about it. We won't, that's not a firing kind of a situation.
not done yet.
There's
All
time
right.
for that.
And what else do we have? So the next meeting for Wellington Day is March 5th. So I'll be at that. Hopefully we can get some more concrete ideas of what we can safely offer people. I know people were throwing out ideas like a walkthrough artwork, if the kids haven't been able to present their artwork or photography because of COVID and the way the schools are, having like a walkthrough show for them might be nice. And people can distance themselves in that.
I remember maybe 2 years ago we did, or maybe last year, we did hamburgers and hot dogs. Right?
Yeah, I think there was concessions too.
That was
I
2
think-
years. 2
2
years.
years ago. Okay, because we did that, right? I remember cooking hot dogs. And didn't they have a little train going around the track couple of years ago too? I don't know who did that. The firemen maybe?
I saw it in the pictures, but I don't know.
Because that was cool. The kids loved that.
Mhm.
So it'd be good to see that happen again.
I think with food offerings at Wellington Day, we were talking about either having people situated in the field and having like a food runner so that it's limiting people congregating at the concessions.
Yeah.
So they were throwing out ideas, or prepackaged. So somebody gets to come in and supply food and they have to prepackage it for people to pick up and go to their location so that they're distancing from others while eating. So, but again, hopefully restrictions are less by that point. Hopefully it's a little bit easier.
It's getting better every day.
Yeah. And I sent out a reminder email for the Wellington Wire, just trying to get everyone's submissions. Hopefully I'll get everyone's submissions by March 1st and put that together. I'm trying to stick to Maureen's time frame for that. The next one is Q2 and it's for what was it? April, May, June, I think it was. So
Sounds right.
usually goes out April 1st.
Yep, little springtime one.
So,
Got to get a nice cover picture.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Can you handle that? The Wellington Word? That's a lot of work, isn't it?
I think so. She's got everything on the computer here, so I could look at all the old ones. I was actually looking at the spring one from last year because that was during COVID. And like what programs she had offered in there, but it was pretty limited. Because at that point, everything was closed. You couldn't go on the playgrounds or use any of the, basketball court, volleyball court. So she mostly just listed, the rec basketball, thank you to the coaches, the sportsmanship award recipients, the team champions, and she listed information for Wednesdays in the park,
Okay.
the summer concerts. So for this year, for this quarter, so far I have planned that our playground swings and outdoor equipment is open for use with, distancing guidelines. Golf clinics seem to be a go. I heard from Skungumung, he sent dates. I tried to
Okay.
reach out to him just to introduce myself, but I haven't heard from him yet. I could list the Wednesdays in the park, the 911 reflective address signs we can still put in there. I made one so far.
Maybe
I
put a
know
note
Maureen
in about-
previously offered hiking club, so I'm not sure, maybe that's something we could potentially do, or if I found someone that wanted to lead that.
Who was doing that? Was that
I
the?
think Maureen was actually doing it herself, so.
Oh, okay.
And what else did I have here? And then usually you would list if you're hiring for camp or lifeguards or any of that stuff, so. We'll see.
You could
Yeah,
also,
you
you could also add that we rent out canoes, kayaks, and what's the other thing we do?
The snowshoes, but that's
Snowshoes, but
hopefully coming to an end.
Mm.
So with the kayaks and things, I know Maureen had some cleaning to do when those came back in, and she was holding on to them for 72 hours before they could go out again. But I think that's going to be different. I don't think, because the restrictions, it's not passing on items. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you need to keep it for so long now. If I
Not
just
touch
cleaned and
thing.
sanitized, I think they could go right it back out. So,
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right.
I think we also
Back.
did, we used to get coupons for, what was that place called in Mansfield? Adventureland, Adventure Time,
Oh, yeah.
oh,
about
the
185?
discounted tickets, yeah.
Climbing Park. We used to have a certain number of discount tickets for that too.
Mhm.
I don't know, I don't know if we paid for them. We must have paid for it, right? We must
Yeah,
have
I
bought
think
them. must have
CRPA
bought 'em.
offers them.
But I remember that we did that too, so that could go in the Wellington Word if that place is open. I think it's open. It was open, I think.
I think she did discount tickets last year. And I think some of them, it was Lake Compound, Six Flags, the Adventure Park. So just depending on what they're offering and if they're available, then yeah,
Yeah.
I could find out from CRPA.
All right, those are all good things.
And then, yeah, I mean, she usually listed the hiring for camp and lifeguards, but then she also listed, Halls Pond opening day and the last day of school pond party and things. So I guess that's all kind of up in the air,
Yeah, I think you're gonna be hard pressed to make Halls Pond work.
right? And she had the storage unit in the works for this year, so who knows? I mean,
Yeah,
That would be
wait
a
on,
good
I'd
fit.
wait on that. There's no need to have that yet.
yeah,
Because if there's no waterfront, there's nothing to store.
right.
Everything, where is the dock right now? Probably at Public Works again?
It's at Public Works. I've seen it at the dump.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe you concentrate on summer camp and not so much worried about the waterfront.
Mhm.
We just have too small a waterfront.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think
if
if it
we
was
have-
larger, it would be easier to get people out and to distance them and to make it work.
Maybe if we're gonna run the camp, you can try and run the camp at the River Road facility. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
I mean, I wonder if there's some like water type things that we can buy and hook up and, for entertainment for the kids.
Mhm.
Let them cool down because it's gonna get real hot in that sun in the summertime out there with no shade. And maybe we could get some, I don't want, for lack of a better term, not toys, but you know what I'm saying, some kind of something that the kids can do, some activities with water or something like that that we hook up.
Mikey's
Yeah, they
got
make
the
like the
slip and slide.
inflatable water slides and things like that, so
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
an
I mean,
option.
Something.
yeah.
Even
water-
if it was just, once a week, it might be a nice thing to try.
Well, swimsuits and water gun fights. That'd be
Something.
fun.
Yeah.
Something for the
No?
kids to have fun and cool off in. Maybe, I mean, what's the age group that we have going there? Do we know if?
4 to 12, I think, or 4 to 11.
4 to 12? I mean, I wouldn't use water guns. I'm not trying to be sound like a liberal. But I mean, you get 12, I just don't want little kids getting pelted with water guns, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care.
You used to
anything,
shoot
just
your friends with BB guns when you were a kid.
I. So, all right. I take that back.
Water
Water-
balloon fight, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be
You'll
fun.
shoot your
But then
eye
you got a
out.
lot
You'll
to
shoot
pick
your
up.
eye out.
You know what? Whether it's a water gun or something, but some kind of device or something, maybe we can hook up and the kids can cool off and have fun and just,
Mhm.
let it loose. You know what I'm saying?
I know
Sure.
some camps actually, instead of a water gun fight, they do sponge. You cut up small sponges, you put them in a bucket and you throw them at each other. So it's safe.
You've got those big sprinklers too.
Mhm.
You could kind of divert the water a little bit and make an umbrella of water. Could
I'll
do
look
something.
online. We can look online and see what's out there, if we could, if there's something out there might be neat,
Mhm.
whatever. Just a thought.
I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm usually good for one idea per meeting,
Well, where is it?
That was it.
All right. That's a good one. I like it. I know we're gonna have to improvise. It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
know.
that's all, yeah.
got
We
no
grease
choice.
up a pig, and until they catch it, nobody gets lunch.
There you go.
Just don't get a boar, Mike. We don't want to kill any of the kids. They'll have fun. Kids have fun no matter what. You got shade in the pavilion, Ed. Worst case, we can get a couple of big
Yeah, no, I-
fans. There's
We'll come
things
up
we
with
can do.
something.
Somewhere in one of those schools, there must be a couple of those big stand-up, like 2-foot fans.
Mhm.
There's got to be something like that. So,
Well, that's all I've got.
all right. Well, that's good. I mean,
I
that's a
think
good
we've made
start.
a good dent in my questions, so.
And I don't think there's any old business or new business. Unless you guys have old business or new business. I think maybe old businesses, we're gonna get started on the pole lights once the weather breaks. The bases are in,
That'll be great.
Mhm.
That'll
Yep.
be awesome.
the poles are here, the lights are here, we're ready to go.
I think that's gonna be wonderful.
So I'll call that old business.
Yeah, I checked in with Troy on it actually on Friday. I was like, is there anything I need to know? So he said the conduits and light piers are installed and they're waiting on the light poles to go up. So,
He's worried because kids near where the volleyball court is, there's a pole right next to that. He said they're just taking handfuls of sand and pouring it down the pipe.
Ugh. Oh, you got electrical conduit in there? Oh, they never taped it or anything?
I think he taped it, but it doesn't take much to bust tape. We should have really glued caps on it. Or no, you know what? They're precast from Jolly, and I bet it's just flat at the top. Where the
Oh,
pipe
yeah,
is up in
yeah,
the creek,
yeah.
just flat.
Would have to drive a cork in it.
Yeah, So, you know, we'll get it out no matter what it is. But for old business, that's in the works and ready to go. And I think we're not gonna spend our budget on that. I don't think.
Good.
Yeah, and you said in the springtime, you know, as soon as the snow's gone, they're gonna seed and clean it all up, so that'll look nice.
I gotta get there quick with the lift though before he does that. So, because I'm gonna make a little bit of a mess. I'm sure of that.
Mm.
So, all right, so that's good old business. I don't think there's any new business, except we have a new rec director and that's nice. So far, so good?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, you're
Still,
smiling.
still figuring it out, but yeah, I mean, either way,
You'll-
it's COVID times too, so.
Yeah, I'd say give
Lots
yourself
to
a
learn.
break, figure out everything you can, but these are odd times.
Mhm.
We'll get through it. All right, so are we gonna adjourn?
I
Mikey,
guess so.
I
Make
would
a
adjourn.
motion.
Eddie?
Yep, second.
All right. Bethany.
See you
I can't-
later.
So, oh yeah, Mike Campo's there too.
See you
He's-
later.
He's at Burger King.
Yeah.
All
Have a
right,
good
so
one, guys.
Bethany,
All
take
right,
it
thank
easy,
you.
Mike.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
yeah, thanks
Thanks,
for doing
Bethany.
this and we'll see you again soon and I'll send you the minutes when I
Yeah.
get them done, okay?
Perfect,
welcome
thank
aboard.
you.
All right,
Until
take care.
next time.
All right, see you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.